Hi team, so it's just me flying solo in today's episode. We've just come off the back of the 5-day challenge, so we actually do have the cart being open. If you listen to this now on the 25th, 26th of the 3rd, 2025, it's time to sign up for Unshakable. If you've been waiting for it, this is your opportunity. And with regards to the episode, this is kind of one where I'll challenge you. We'll challenge you if you're not feeling in the greatest space. I'll challenge you if you're mentally starting to slip to your own standards, and I'll challenge you to hopefully get you to see things slightly differently, which obviously might create new opportunities and new difficulties. But especially towards the end, I try and give you some actionables. I try and give you some real, like, what are you going to do about it kind of things. But I also give a little bit of insight into where I'm at, what's the journey been like so far, and just it was just a vulnerable moment. And I just thought, let's record. It's 20 minutes. Let's see what we got. Hope you enjoy the episode. Cheers. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Identity Human podcast with your host, Don. And I'm back at the computer because tonight is just going to be 20 minutes, let's say, give or take. And I'm doing what is easy because I want to focus on what can I say to you, what message can I give, and what something is going to add a bit of value and make use of your time here. So it is just me. The last episode that me and Ray did about choosing your partner really carefully has resonated with a few people. I've had some feedback, and we're probably going to do a part 2 on that to answer some questions that people have had. And I'm quite looking forward to that. But we follow a cycle, and tonight is just me. So sometimes there's really good themes that come up, and tonight's theme, and when I say theme, as in, like, I've heard 2 or 3 people say it in the last week, and I go, yeah, okay, we'll talk about that because it's resonated, it's helped, and sometimes we need to hear these things. So the first and only principle that I'll be talking about tonight is no one is coming to save you. Now, what does that mean? Okay, so the first thing is, what are you waiting for? Who are you waiting for? Like, you're struggling with something and you're feeling a bit down and you're feeling sorry for yourself and you're just waiting for someone. I'm currently in that space. So I think that's why this message needs to go out to whoever else is listening, because I'm like, if I feel it, I need to talk about it. And if it's going to help someone, then in the process, then great. And I think, where is that someone that's just going to come and tell me what to do? Why can't you just come and help me? And it's just like, it's so frustrating because I've been taking on this, no one is going to come and save you for a while now. And it's gotten me places. But there's just things add up and you just go, okay, well, come on now, this is a bit ridiculous. And do you resonate with that? I think we all go through times where we're like, I can take on the world. I'm so positive. Look at this going. And then there's other times where you're just like, sure, like, this is a test. This is a test. And I probably, maybe actually just saying that really helps, is you have to realize that this is a test and you're able to rise above it. And that's probably where growth starts to accumulate, is every time that you start to get into this mental state where you're waiting for somebody to come and save you. How long does it take you before you recognize you're in that state and then move forward, move through it, move up, and then make the most of it? Now, I know it may suck when you hear no one is coming to save you, but the truth is, and this is you get an work to my inner mind, is like, this is where you slip into that victim mindset. You slip into the, this is all happening to me. This is, why am I getting tested like this? Why are these things happening? I think that's not going to help you. I think obviously context is important. Remember, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what's happened in your life. I don't know what you're trying to achieve. And that's probably my most important question, is what are you trying to achieve? So when you listen to this, are you trying to achieve something, or are you just going through a really shitty time, excuse the French? And if it's the latter, then maybe this podcast episode isn't for you to listen to. If it's the former, as in you're trying to achieve something and it sucks and it's hard, as in you're ambitious, you've got things going on, and there's just a lot of plates spinning, or you're coming through a long period of just having stuck your head down and really gone for it, but you haven't quite gotten to where you want to be, then maybe this is what you need to hear. Is like, it's, where were the expectations that things were going to happen overnight? I think this is one element I want to bring in here, is like, we've got to raise our standards. I did have a question. Like I wrote down, I said, when did we all forget we're adults? I was watching the video of Rassie Erasmus talking to the Springboks in the World Cup. I think they just lost to Ireland. And he stands at the front there and he says, what's wrong with you? He says, you guys are making a meal of this. He says, remember, you're adults. Like, you're not children. All of you have got wives and kids and responsibilities and things to go home to. He says, why do you feel sorry for yourself? He said, you're adults. And that resonated. I was like, yeah, of course. I feel sometimes we slip into this state of mind where we forget that we're adults, like we've got adult responsibilities, adult things going on, and we need to make sure that we're rising to those. Because if you don't, how is that affecting everything else you do if you're not in that right frame of mind? Now, I want to acknowledge that the underlying principle here is ultimate responsibility. So if you do not agree with ultimate responsibility, then again, this episode might not be the one for you. Ultimate responsibility is really tough, though, because it means that you can't blame anyone else. You have to look at what you've done and how you could have done it better and what else there is that you can do to change whatever is going on that's challenging you. And that can be hard because there's so many different excuses our ego or our chimp or our survival impact. I mean, our survival um, mechanisms and our comfort zone. I don't know why impact came into my head there. Those things all start to come up. There's so many reasons why we shouldn't be taking responsibility, and some of them are very logical. Some of them are extremely clever and they're very easy to listen to because it's so much easier to listen to those than it is to go, well, okay, I accept that that situation is going on and perhaps I can't change it, but what can I change? And so I know I'm currently struggling with just this. Like there's this deep seated victim voice that starts to call out, and then we hear stories, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's me. Like, coming out of a rugby world into this world, and you're so used to being coached or picked for a team, and you can just go onto the field and perform. And like sometimes I look around, and I'm like, where's the coach? Where's the person that's going to pick me? And why am I? And like I'm waiting for them. And I had a conversation today with two very smart individuals, and we're talking about how we got on to talking about the weekend. And this weekend, I was on our cul-de-sac skateboarding with the kids. I had an amazing time. I said I was also found myself up an apple tree. Yes, lots goes on. But I went and got the secateurs, and I was just cutting all of the branches. I don't know if you know, with apple trees, is like if you want a tree to survive and do well, you've got to cut the branches that are going inward and crossing over, because they end up competing with each other and blocking airflow and sunshine and all that. You want to be able to create nice pathways for things to move through. And we got to the analogy that was like life. Is this tree you, or this tree that's growing? And like, do you have anyone there that's helping you trim those branches? And do you even know that the branches you have are starting to cross over? It's like when you overthink, over conceptualize, don't take action, the victim mindset, all of those things start to come in. Those are just branches that are interlooping over each other and actually doing more harm than good, even though you think, oh, like logistically they have a place. The ego, the comfort zone that just keeps telling you that no, they're meant to wear a tree, you're meant to grow those. But who's helping you? And that was one of our questions. I said, isn't it interesting? You could take that metaphor one level further and say that, like, even if you try and help someone because you can see their branches are crossing over, what sometimes is hardest is it's not just seeing that, is that they don't allow you to help, or you don't allow other people to help you, for example, because it's fine, I'll just do it myself, or no one wants to help me. And what the metaphor is, you've grown some thorns on your trunk, so no one can climb up and help you because you get so reactive, so defensive, and so in your own mind that you're very unaware of what's going on around you, which is natural. Like if you are struggling to genuinely put yourself in someone else's shoes and ask, what else do they need? What else do they want? Understand that it means that you've had an inward self-focus. That's okay. Like everyone goes through that. But when was the last time you were able to sit down and be like, what does so-and-so need? How can I be thoughtful for X? How can I, what is it that's going to help them connect and help them have a good day? And it's not because you want to get something in return. It's genuinely, you've got nothing else going on inside that you're just like, actually, I really want to see if I can make their day. Like, here's a thought. I put a bit more thought than just how's your day going or hope you're not in trouble. It's the next level down, which is you remember a conversation you had with them 3 months ago, and then you go, oh, I want to check in with that, and you have that mental ability and that cognitive space to be able to help them in that way, or just converse with them, and it's not even a help thing. So if you can't, it's not even empathize. If you can't put yourself in someone else's shoes currently because you're so stuck on what you're not getting, then understand you're in the same place as waiting for someone to save you. I say that with deep care and deep love, and I promise you that, like, I'm not here to like take you off your tracks or just destroy momentum. I'm here to hopefully open up your viewpoint that the reason you're waiting for someone to like come and save you is because you have started to turn inwards. You're not letting other people help. You're not listening to other people because they don't know any better. They don't know what I'm going through. Oh, they're having a better life than I am. They just won't understand. All those things are your thorns that are coming out of your trunk. So anything that your ego tells you, your chimp, your survival instinct and your comfort zone, that when people are trying to reach out and you're not curious enough to listen, you are the one that's got the thorns that are stopping other people from potentially climbing up and trimming some things that just need trimming. Because sometimes we just need trimming. That thought doesn't suit. That belief doesn't suit. That way that I'm looking at things, it doesn't suit my direction. And even though you know it, you're not letting anyone else come and help you, or you may not even know it, but people are trying and you're not letting them in. And I suppose we need to create that human connection because it allows us to be able to see things that we can't see. Someone can actually get up there and trim those bushes. And I'm sticking to that analogy. So I can hear. One of the things I said is I can hear this deep-seated voice that's reaching out and being like, "Oh, I need someone to coach me. I need someone, not coach as in like the sports analogy coach. I need someone to pick me in their team. I just need someone to tell me what to do." And there's two things I usually find that I can do when I'm in that space is I can either message someone I know that's going to hear me, see me, and tell me, oh, it's okay, but there's this, and like help change that perspective for me because sometimes you're not, but I need to be in the space to do it. Or I can just focus on what I can control. Usually that focus on what I can control is easy enough to do. It's like, okay, can I change this? Recognize that there's a feeling versus a situation. And if we can identify the feeling, we can then separate it from the situation and focus on that situation, how else we can go about things. I think those can be quite hard to do sometimes. So I just wanted to briefly talk about that to you guys and where you may be, if it resonates to where you are in comparison to where I am. Like, we've just come off the back of a 5-day challenge and the numbers were a lot smaller. We changed a bit of the approach to it. And that was really interesting because I usually get a lot of energy from that challenges. And I did this time. I really, if there's one person in there, we'll give them our all. Now, we did have a few people in, but sometimes you make progress and you have expectations and then reality doesn't meet the expectations. So I did have a bit of a chat with Ray and just been like, it really sucks because there's this going on, there's that going on. I'm trying to really grow. I'm super passionate about identity human and obviously everything we're trying to grow. And I want to make momentum, so I'm kind of, and I said to you, the context is important earlier. And what are you trying to achieve? Like, I know what I'm trying to achieve with this and I'm not making the progress that I want to make. But again, this is a process. The whole reason we started this podcast, or I started the podcast in the first place, was so that you could see the journey as it was. And it wasn't just some polished result or outcome. So this part of this is understanding, like, I'm coming and I'm talking from the heart, hopefully enough, I'm not hiding anything. But it is at the point where we're now 67 episodes in. I still don't know how exactly to grow the podcast as big or dedicate the time to it. We also post on YouTube, and that's not growing. I also look at Instagram and I'm like, jeepers, how do I get the reach that I want to reach? So I'm still taking all the action, and it looks great, and it feels great. There's so much progress that's being made every single time we learn something new. But I think sometimes I get frustrated with the speed of the journey, and hopefully you guys resonate with this in whatever is happening in your life, whether it's personal growth or business growth or whatever's going on. Is I want to be able to share not just the goods, not just the greats, But also go back to, the first episode where you hear me flipping through sleep notes and like going, oh no, that doesn't work, which is actually one of our highest forming episodes, by the way, highest performing episodes. Weirdly enough, obviously sleep is important. But this one is just part of the process. Like this, it's nighttime here. I didn't record the podcast this afternoon when I wanted to. I said I'd do it tonight, and so I'm committing to do it. And I was like, oh, do I want to talk about this, or shouldn't I be talking about something that's more positive and uplifting? And I actually think sometimes when you're going through something, it's good for you guys to hear how we can shift out of whatever is going through. So at the moment, I know I'm in a bit of a lull. It could be because the 5-day challenge has ended. It's a very high energy process. And on the other side of day 5, there's a bit of a dip, understandably, because I'm getting myself up. It's like playing a rugby game and then you go and do recovery. So I'm in that bit of a dip now. Yeah, just if you're resonating with anything that you've heard, especially at the beginning of the episode, now taking ultimate responsibility, no one's coming to save you. Like the next step that I would say is, what are you going to do about it? Like what's the action you're going to take? How are you going to change perspective? Are you going to do it on your own? Are you going to try and look back at what usually works for you? Or are you going to message someone and ask them to change perspective for you? I tell you that that's a lot easier to do sometimes. Like you don't get a badge of honor by never asking anyone for help. That's been one of my biggest learns, is like, it's okay to lean on other people. Because if you struggle to lean on other people, is that your ego speaking? Like, are you scared of failure? Are you shamed? Are you feeling like is there a feeling of shame that asking for help makes you weak? Why does that come across as seeming weak when you ask for help? I know I would caveat to that and say, make sure you're asking the right people, because if you ask the wrong person, they're only going to throw it back in your face. So yeah, I suppose that's the message. We're just short of 20 minutes and I don't need to just fill time for the sake of filling time. I want you to check. No one's coming to save you. Take ultimate responsibility and think about what action you can take to focus yourself forward. Because as long as you stay there stuck in whatever emotion or feeling that you've got, it's not going to serve the direction that you're trying to go. It's not going to serve what you're trying to achieve. So embrace the challenge that you've got, fully lean into this, and know, again, this can help me, so help you, that if you were going to write a book in 10 years' time, this is a paragraph in a chapter, or it is a whole chapter. And you're going to say, in this moment when I was struggling with X, this is what I thought, and it led to Y. Okay, not Y as in Y, but Y in part of the letters. So you're currently writing a book of your life, and this is the story that you're living. And how do you want that to end? Like, how do you want people to read it? When you're writing it, do you want to look back and write with pride that like this was a really cool moment? Or is this going to be a sentence and probably a paragraph that you're like, yeah, it wasn't my proudest time. I tried to kick myself out of it, but I didn't. Remember, at the end of the day, that choice is yours. We always have a choice. Just sometimes it sucks to make the right choice. Okay, so make the sucky choice. Make the choice that you really don't want to, because that's the one that's probably going to serve you the best. And if this resonates, please comment, like, share, send this to a friend, send this to someone that you might think they need to hear it. It would be really good to get some interactions on the podcast and get you guys sharing the love a little bit. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a great day. I hope that life is treating you really well. And I hope that you have it within you to rise to the challenges that are currently coming your way and you're trying to deal with, because you are far more capable than you can ever imagine. Okay. Remember, Ubuntu, we are who we are through others. I will work on me for you if you can work on you for me. Cheers.